Hello and welcome to GameSpot's Black Ops 4 Reveal live stream. We're going to play the game a little bit, and we're going to go right into the live stream, and then we're going to talk about what we've seen. I'm Jake Decker, joining me is Jean Luc.
Hey,
you recently played through all the Black Ops games, right?
Yes, been playing through all the Black Ops games in anticipation for this. So, we're playing Black Ops 3 right now. Let's just cut to that gameplay. We're going to check out multiplayer, just kind of mess around and hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about rumors. There's some wild rumors about this game.
Yeah.
I mean, the elephant in the room, for pretty much every game being announced in 2018 is that this might have Battle Royale. What do you think of that?
I'm curious how that's going to work with Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is so fast-paced. So if they are going to have Battle Royale mode, like, how do you make that like last longer? Like, do you change up the way like enemy health works? Do you like the movement? I mean, Call of Duty is always typically very slow maps.
Small maps.
You'd have to have like a much bigger open map. Are they going to put vehicles in, which is sort of like a battle royale thing? We really just don't. Like, I feel like they're going to have to change a lot to make a battle royale work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm sold on it. Like, Call of Duty always has great shooting mechanics. Like, that is the one thing that people always come back to. Especially on console, it's hard to beat Call of Duty's shooting mechanics.
Totally.
But I don't know if I'd want to play Call of Duty Battle Royale. And also another thing is Call of Duty is so heavily based on, I mean, they don't really call them classes so much anymore, but, you know, you pick a gun, you choose what attachments you want on it. You choose perks. They're not so much perks anymore. Abilities, like they've kind of changed, but it's always been about like creating a class or a pseudo class. And the whole point of Battle Royale is that you start with nothing. So that'll be interesting. The other big rumor too is that there's no single player campaign.
Yeah, that one I'm kind of 50-50 on if it's true. So Call of Duty kind of started with the campaigns, really. Those were always more important than the single player, and those have always probably been the most important thing for me.
Especially with the Black Ops series, too. Like, I feel like, at least Black Ops 1 in particular, like, I mean, it didn't have a fantastic story, but it was definitely entertaining.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think Treyarch always seems to be a little more experimental with their plots. Like, you know, one had, sort of, like you said, it wasn't, like, deep or anything, but it had this interesting
sort of psychological.
Right, they were kind of tapping into the whole, like, you know, CIA, like, Black Ops stuff they were doing with the Cold War, and that was just, like, a really interesting setting. I'm trying to shoot here and failing.
Yeah, it's gotta be tough. You can swim in Black Ops 3, can't you? That was, like, one thing.
You?
Like,
wow, I didn't know that.
I feel like I remember that from.
But then, like, 2 had the modular campaign where the story would change, and 3 has sort of this very, like, bizarre structure with the way it's telling its story, and they've always been experimental with the campaigns, but at the same time, it feels sort of like a Black Ops thing to be even more experimental and just not have one.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I remember, I think the last Call of Duty campaign that I completed to the very end, well, actually, maybe that's not true, but the last one I remember that I completed to the end was Black Ops 2, and that was because that game had, like, multiple endings and, like free roam, like sort of bigger areas where you could explore and do, like, they'd almost put you in like a multiplayer map and have you complete objectives there.
Right.
Which I remember thinking was pretty interesting at the time. I mean the branching narrative I thought was particularly interesting for a Call of Duty game. I was kind of bummed that they got rid of that. Also, can you just do something for me and jump in the water and see if you can swim? Pretty sure you can. Yeah, you can in this game. You can shoot.
And you can shoot, apparently. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day.
But yeah, and then I didn't play much Black Ops 3 apart from some of the multiplayer.
All right.
But you were mentioning that the story in that is like kind of strange.
Yeah, it's a weird story. It comes across as very straightforward, but then it has sort of this like big twist at the end that kind of like recontextualizes the whole thing. And at least for me, I didn't think they really like pulled it off in the way they were, at least for me. But it's a very like experimental in the way it does it. For starters, you could just like straight up play any mission you want from the get-go. Like you can choose to just unlock all of them from the start, which is like kind of interesting. So they do all these things with that story to like try and like differentiate it, and Well, I didn't think they were 100% successful. In my opinion, I commend them for at least like trying something new. Which is why I'm kind of curious. Like, I feel like even if they don't have a campaign, they gotta have like some sort of single player offering, right?
Yeah, my guess. I remember in Modern Warfare 2 and I think 3, they had. They're not called situations, but they were like a co-op mode with just bite-sized missions. Spec Ops. I could see something like that maybe being in it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, the single player. Like, I mean, the point of the single player is to train you for multiplayer, essentially. So, like, while I understand why it makes sense to get rid of it, because most people play multiplayer, like, it's still a good training ground, you know?
Well, Aaron Sampson actually had a good point where he was saying to me that a lot of reasons, actually, he feels that the campaign exists is to have, like, those big, bombastic spectacle moments you can put in an ad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Like, the ads are always, like, the big, like, you know, the Eiffel Tower is exploding,
falling,
right?
yeah.
Like, and all that shit, because it's harder to, like, show multiplayer in an ad campaign. Whenever they do, like, the multiplayer aspect of Call of Duty, they usually do those live-action trailers with the celebrities. They never show, like, gameplay. So that's kind of a good point of, like, without the campaign, it's losing that, like, bombastic, like, scripted moments that, like, people, like, point to in Call of Duty games.
So then maybe like bite-sized missions makes even more sense. Just bite-sized, like kind of
Missions
off the wall, like nuts.
That have some scripted stuff in them.
Yeah.
Garbage right now. I apologize.
That's all right. It's hard to talk and play Call of Duty.
It really is.
Oh, that shadow freaked me out.
The best matches I played earlier this week is when I was at my desk with headphones on, no one was talking.
Yeah. Or when you had Richie, our Call of Duty expert, play for you.
That too, but I actually had some pretty good matches in 3 by myself. But yeah, I also did everything.
You have your ult,
my
right?
bow, yeah. It's tough with the alts because you just need to find like a good opportunity to like utilize it, and it's at least with deathmatch it's a little trickier to like find the right spot for it. Let's see if we can make this happen now.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
That would have been rad. Oh, there you go.
This is a pretty looking map. We're playing this on the Xbox One X, and you did mention that it is X enhanced. This looks pretty dang good.
Yeah, the game still looks pretty good.
Because when was
there we go.
I didn't realize that happened.
Getting some arrow kills. Well,
it was this, and then it was Infinite Warfare World War II, and now Black Ops 4, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it today. Like, I'm bummed that there's no campaign, but then I thought about it, and I was like, have I really played the campaign in other Call of Duty games? Like, I played a little bit of, I played a little bit of World War II this year.
Right.
I think I played about half of Infinite Warfare, and while I enjoyed those, like, I feel like not having them isn't going to change much, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think there's a very vocal group of people who are upset about it, and understandably so. Though. That's fine. I mean, if you play the games for the campaigns, like me, like you're okay to be upset. But I do think the large majority of people like just don't care. So it very much. I don't think Activision would have like approved this without like the numbers behind it to show like, well, actually,
yeah,
it doesn't really matter. Most people aren't going to care.
So then one of the big staples, so now all Call of Duty games have this, but one thing that Treyarch kind of pioneered was zombies. So do you think maybe instead of what I was saying, more situations, do you think maybe zombies could have a much stronger emphasis? Because it kind of seems like it's been going that way for a while, especially with Treyarch. They seem to really push their zombie game, which I personally love. Although I haven't kept up with them, but like I remember having so much fun with those, and even with World War II, I remember I had quite a good time with that.
I think it has to because, so okay, you don't have a campaign. Even if you're someone who only plays the multiplayer, you still look at that as like a good deal of like, oh, I'm getting zombies, I'm getting campaign, I'm getting multiplayer for $60.
It's like a good change of pace too, you know? Like you can play with your friends. Also, that was a sick backflip you did off that windowsill.
Thank you, very intentional. But without a campaign, it kind of puts into question like, well, why is this still $60? Right?
Yeah, it looks empty.
And I doubt that Activision's going to say, oh no, it's only $40 now. As cool as that would be, I don't think Activision would ever do that. I don't think Activision would ever do that. So what I think instead they have to do is say, well, hey, we didn't do a campaign. but we put all these extra resources, so now we have twice as many multiplayer maps, or zombies is like twice as big at launch, right? Like you have to do other stuff to make this like a good value.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see him doubling down in zombies. I always wanted just like a more focused zombie Call of Duty game. Like still have the multiplayer, but just have like a very robust offering of zombie maps, maybe even like a campaign that leads you through. Like they always kind of have a story, but they're super what's the word, obtuse. So it'd be kind of cool to have like a more narrative flow through the zombie maps, but still also keep that sort of wave defense, obtuse storytelling, because that is cool. And there was definitely a point in my Call of Duty life campaign, I don't know, where I was like very into whatever zombie story was going on.
I was doing research on this. There's like a through line timeline for every Treyarch Zombies game, and I didn't know that. They have like their 4. So I think the campaigns, like the zombie maps, a lot of people remember are the ones with the celebrities on them, but they have a lot of their maps are also based around like those 4 characters they came up with.
Yeah, they're still showing up, right?
Yeah, the original World at War. They apparently showed up in this one in 3 as well. In like it was like alternate timeline version of this character, and I was like, I've never kept up with zombie story. I have no idea what you're talking about.
There was Richtofen. He was the German. I think he like defected from Germany and was like a scientist. There was Dempsey. He was like the American, like, come on, zombie shitbag, and like stuff like that. And then there was the Russian. I don't remember his name, but his thing was vodka.
Right, and then I know there was a Japanese pilot.
And, yeah, I think his name was Tao or something like that. Takei, something like that. But yeah, I thought those were pretty cool. And even like I said, World War II. Like I had quite a bit of fun with World War II zombies.
Oh yeah, I mean that original Zombies was sort of the breakout success. Yeah, I'm curious what they're gonna do with it, because it used to be like Treyarch was the zombie thing, and then every other studio tried to come up with their own like version of zombies. Yeah. But eventually it seemed like they all gave up and just said, well, we'll just all do zombies. Like, Infinite Warfare was just zombies, and World War II was just zombies. So I think it's gotten to a point where it's like, no, zombies is just the de facto third mode part now. Of it. But I think Treyarch is still like the mode people probably like the most, because Treyarch's the one who invented it.
So I have another question too for you. So one of the big things, at least at the beginning of this generation of this, is the mobility. Like you can run on walls, you can like double jump, you can...
Right. Oh my god. Oh wow. We're getting some connection issues. Woohoo!
Sweet.
All right, cool, we're good.
Mobility was like a huge part of these games. Personally, I didn't love it.
That guy didn't love it either.
Oh, that guy jumped too. So what, do you think we'll see that again? Because one of the big things with Call of Duty World War II, at least that thing they kept saying was boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
Do you think boots on the ground are going to be a thing, or do you think it's still going to be improved mobility? Because I kind of think they might stick with mobility.
It's tough to say. I mean, so Activision was very much aware. I mean, when they did like a post-mortem thing on Infinite Warfare, where they kind of said like, yeah, like we know it's sort of, this game was kind of made at the wrong time. It kind of referring to the fact that people seemed sick of future warfare, and that kind of, then they did, World War II, and that was very much back to, like you said, the boots on the ground, and people seemed to like that one. So I imagine Activision would maybe want to get away from that.
Maybe what I could see is I could see both. Like maybe some modes have this sort of quicker mobility and like running on walls, but then there's other modes that don't.
What I would like is to see. The thing I like about the Black Ops games is that they take place in multiple time periods. So, the first one's in the 60s, the second one splits itself between 2025 and the 80s. This was the only one that took place in like just the future, like it was in the 2060s. So I would like to see the whole game, because they don't have a campaign, they can kind of take advantage of that and just set it in like multiple time periods. I think would be kind of neat. Like just have the campaign be like this hodgepodge of different eras.
Yeah.
Or not the campaign, sorry, just the multiplayer.
So then what if like, all right, so say you've got like a map that takes place in the 60s and you got a map that takes place in 2035. Like, so that map people can run on walls and stuff, and the other like.
Well, no. I mean, you're right. They wouldn't be able to do that. But maybe get rid of the wall running, and then make the maps and guns like a combination of different like eras. Of weapons. Would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty whatever about the mobility stuff. Like, I love it in Titanfall, but just like comparatively, it's pretty limited. It doesn't have that feeling.
Yeah, it's like it's really hard to describe. Like, I think I watched a review of Advanced Warfare, which was the first one where they kind of introduced this more mobility, more mobile movement, and I remember someone saying it felt very like staccato-y compared to Titanfall, which to me that makes a lot of sense because it was very much like move up one direction, like run on this wall right here, like start and stop. While Titanfall felt very loose, and you could like wall run on anything. You could, yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting.
I think they could get away from that. I don't think they need it in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They did it as a response to Titanfall, but I don't think anyone else is really.
Oh, what was that guy doing?
I don't know. I think he was trying to knife
me. He's the king too. #1, double kill, nice.
Oh my god!
Wow. Oh. Hey, you got one though.
Hey, yeah, I consider that a win.
4-kill streak, 3-kill streak?
Something like that.
All right. Well, then what about the specialists? Do you think that's gonna return?
I think they'll stick with that. I mean, I think like a class-based system is still like a hot thing that they're gonna. I think they're gonna stick with that for sure.
Did they add more specialists, like with DLC and stuff like that?
They did. They did. It started with 4, and then come on.
Yeah, because I remember just watching you play yesterday. I saw some like.
Whoa! That was not the guy I was aiming for, but I'll take it.
Did you get up? There you go.
I did.
That bow's pretty cool.
Yeah, the bow's cool. I like the bow.
I remember this one in the beta when I was playing the beta.
Yeah, so they added more classes with DLC. Infinite Warfare, or not Infinite Warfare, sorry. World War II did not have classes. That was trying to be more like
more focused on boots on the ground.
Yeah, traditional Call of Duty. They didn't have a. I was gonna make like they didn't have like classes in World War II. I don't know where I'm going with that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind the class thing doesn't bother me because it really is. It's more of like Destiny powers. It's kind of the way it feels. Yeah, it's just like you get a cool Destiny power
that you can use every now and then, and you still pick your perks right in this one.
Yeah, classes doesn't affect guns or perks or anything like that. So it's just about that extra ability. I can see them keeping that around.
Yeah, that would make sense. Ooh, that guy got killed. I feel like you're doing better this game. I don't want to jinx you.
No, I'm doing a little better. I'm getting there. I'm warming up.
I'm trying to think what else. What other surprises? Like, I don't know. I think the most interesting thing about Black Ops is that they kind of, like you were saying, just jump from different time periods.
They jump from different time periods. They're always the more gory Call of Duty games as well.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Black Ops 1 where you put glass in the guy's mouth and punch him? Yeah. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, ever since World at War, Treyarch has always like made their games like the more violent ones.
What was the moment in Black Ops 2 then that was like...
Black Ops 2? Man, I don't know. It's just like generally kind of disturbed. There's lots of like innocent people getting killed and like the plot and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of like a specific scene. There's a part where you could potentially shoot Mason in the head. Spoilers. Oh, you know what? There's a part where one of the characters, spoilers, Hudson gets killed and he gets both of his kneecaps blown off with a shotgun. And you get to watch that, and that's pretty gruesome.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that's
remember that.
actually probably the most gruesome thing in that game.
Yeah, I remember ever since, what was it, Modern Warfare 2, that got them a lot of press when they did the no Russian thing. So I feel like every game after, they're like, we got to find something to...
A little bit. I mean, so like...
No Russian definitely, I think, was the peak, though.
Yeah, like, it's funny. So World at War, which was before Black Ops, or before Modern Warfare 2, was still, like, really violent. Like, you would shoot people's limbs off.
I remember that was one of the first Call of Duty games where, like, where there was dismemberment. Like, if someone, like, would walk on top of a grenade or something, their legs would get blown off.
Explode.
And
really
then the 50 cal, I think it was a 50 cal sniper rifle, like that would, like, you know, basically obliterate someoone's head.
But yeah, like when you start at Black Ops, it has that same like, hey man, there's like a mature warning thing. Do you want to like filter that, and it'll like remove some scenes?
And of course, you know, all the 12-year-olds who got their parents to buy the game are definitely gonna hit. Yes, let's see this.
Let me see that shit. Yeah, it felt like they were like the first one. I don't know, like. It's like it came in there by accident almost. I feel like that all of that negative press, but then they sort of like took advantage of it. That's a weak final kill. Let me just say that right now. That's gonna be on the kill cam, and that is.
Wait, you killed them?
I did. It's gonna be really funny.
I like how you looked at that wall a little bit.
Just kind of graze him in the foot. Don't even look like I hit him, and he dies.
Okay,
that's really pathetic.
We've talked about rumors. We've talked about some of the older games, what they could draw from. What are your hopes? What do you want Black Ops 4 to be?
Completely crazy.
That's what you want? Completely crazy?
Man, what would I want? What would I want Black Ops? I was gonna go nuts. I think the zombies thing would be really fun. Like I would, if they're not gonna have a campaign, I'm with you. I want them to kind of double down on zombies. Yeah. But I'm trying to think, like, there's always been things that have, like, prevented me from playing zombies more, like not having friends or something.
Oh, you got friends, Jean Luc.
I do have friends. But they don't want to play zombies with me.
Just so you guys know, this is GameSpot's Call of Duty Black Ops 4 reveal live stream. The live stream starts in 7 minutes and 47 seconds, it looks like. Ooh. So we're nearing the time where the announcement will happen. In the meantime, we're just kind of playing around with Black Ops, talking about what we want to see. But yeah.
A little closer to 8 minutes and 15 seconds, but that's fine.
8 minutes and 15 seconds.
I'm looking off their counter.
Oh, okay,
gotcha.
Okay.
All right. I guess they're not starting.
So our counter's a little bit off. They must have pushed theirs back.
They must have pushed it back, because our counter goes exactly to 8 o'clock. So if they're a minute off, then they're waiting. But that's okay.
So yeah, zombies. Double down on zombies. I think that's a pretty good one.
Double down on zombies. Maybe find a way to make it more like, I don't want to use the word accessible, but like get me to want to play it more. Like like if there's a way I could play it like single player, maybe. Like if they could find a way for me to play it single player and have like a good time, because zombies has always been.
Yeah, you can't really do it by yourself.
You can, but it's just not. It's not that great. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of okay.
So me personally, I think the only way that I will be interested in Call of Duty is if the multiplayer is completely different, which I don't think is going to happen.
No, I don't think it's going to be completely different.
Like, I'm sure there'll be like new wrinkles in it, as there always are, but like at this point, I feel like every Call of Duty game I play is like the one before that, which 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 is like the one before that. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm holding out for. I don't think that'll happen. I think what's more likely is, I think zombies will be more fleshed out, more improved. Hopefully, like what you were saying, more of a reason to play by yourself, because if there is no single-player campaign, that's going to be your only sort of outlet to play by yourself.
Right. Yeah, if you're not into the multiplayer, then if the rumors are true, there doesn't seem to be as much of a reason to play this Call of Duty, which is... You know, again, Activision probably knows what they're doing, and they know like that's not a significant chunk of people that it's worth them just investing in multiplayer.
However, do you know what 100% will come back? Nuketown. I bet you Nuketown will have to come back, because Treyarch loves Nuketown more than anything else in the world.
Treyarch loves Nuketown. Yeah, Nuketown has to come back.
It'll be a pre-order bonus, like it was for like what, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3.
3 and 2 both had it as a pre-order bonus. So that's a good prediction.
Nuketown has to be in this.
Will it be so? Nuketown, they replace the E with a 3. Will they replace what will they replace
A with a 4?
But there's no A in Nuketown.
Yeah, you're right. The K with a 4.
Okay, sure.
To be honest, like, apart from maps from Black Ops 1, I don't really remember. What?
All right, that was lame. I was trying to do some cool shit. Yeah. And it was like invisible wall.
I don't really remember what
Anyone playing?
some of the maps are. Like, I remember, what was it called? I remember a lot of the maps from Black Ops. That had some really good maps, I remember.
A lot of good stuff, like, you know, had like a...
It had
Fidel
like...
Castro's like villa and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
And it had the, it had the one on the, like, the Soviet satellite tower. That one was pretty cool.
That was pretty good.
And one thing I did remember about Black Ops, I feel like that was one of the last Call of Duty games that had, like, big maps. Like, Castro's Villa, I remember, was pretty big.
It's pretty big, yeah.
And then there was the...
like shit.
There was the one that took place in Vietnam. I think that one was one of my favorites. I don't remember what it was. Hanoi? No, it wasn't Hanoi. Maybe it was Hanoi.
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I remember that one was pretty big as well. And I feel like since then, I think Black Ops kind of started it with some of its other maps, but since then, they've all the multiplayer maps have been very focused on that 3-lane approach, right?
Yeah, that's something I've always complained about with recent Call of Duties. I think while I enjoyed the multiplayer of World War II, I thought a lot of the maps were just those 3-lane maps that kind of got old pretty quick. I haven't played any of the DLC. I don't know if they've improved on that.
Like it was almost like to the point where it was frustrating. Like the house only was there to exist in this 3 lanes that like.
Right.
Like I think it was Point to Hawk maybe in World War II where you could go behind the sort of beach bunkers and you went through this house that was just like you walk in and you walk out the other way. It's like there's no like way to approach this house other than walking through it. Can you make? Oh, you can't make that. Oh, that was pretty cool.
Oh, I was trying to get another kill.
Do you have any other hopes, wishes for Call of Duty?
Ooh, what celebrity do you think they'll get for this one?
Oh, that's a good one. What did they have? What celebrity did they have in this one?
Oh, I forget his name. But he plays the like antagonist, sort of. John Taylor. I forget his name.
Is it?
I know his face. I just don't remember his name.
What else is he in?
That's the thing. Like, off the top of my head, like I couldn't tell you. He's like one of those actors that's like you've definitely seen him before you recognize his face, but like I have so much trouble like remembering what his name is or what he's been in.
I feel like the first Black Ops was the first one that really like pushed those celebrities, like Sam Worthington, Ed Harris, I think, right?
Yep, Ed Harris, and then Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, and then also I always forget this guy's name. He's so good.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah. So Gary Oldman, he was in World at War as well.
Oh, he was.
He was Rezanov in that one as well, and also they had what's his name?
Ice Cube?
No.
Snoop Dogg?
No.
Dr. Dre?
No.
All right, I'm out.
Guy from 24. Solid Snake.
Oh,
I know. So tip my tongue.
Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland, yes. Kiefer Sutherland was in World at War.
I heard Tay yell it from the...
Thank you, Tay. Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland was in that one. But the funny thing is, I think even in Black Ops, they were still like, they had celebrities, but they were still much trying to inhabit the role of a character.
Yeah.
Where it's like you couldn't really tell that was Gary Oldman because he was trying to play a character. Same with Ed Harris and Sam Worthington. It was only Ice Cube that was very much like, he's here just to play himself. He's here to, his name's Bowman, doesn't matter, he's Ice Cube. And that's clearly what they were going for. And I feel like they kind of got more into that, like, you know.
Oh yeah, especially like Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey was like,
essentially just, and then same with...
he was playing his House of Cards character.
Yeah.
He was actually very good in that game.
Press F to pay respects. Press X to pay respects, depending on what platform you're playing on.
Yeah, they've had stuff like that. They didn't really have any in Infinite War. No, they
did.
They had Kit Harington.
Kit Harington, he was the bad guy.
Yes, you're right. And then they had like Josh Duhamel and World War II, and I forget the other guy. Was the other like captain?
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, that's actually a good question. I wonder who it's going to be. Who do you think it's going to be?
I don't know.
Well, who's big right now?
Well, so they'll probably do it in the zombies mode, which this one had a weird.
Considering zombies, I remember they had Danny Trejo, they had
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Didn't they have like George A. Romero?
Yes,
too?
this was in the Black Ops 1. Yeah, it was like a George Romero map, and
Hey
then
guys,
you played
I'm gonna
as.
switch it over, okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll just go.
20 seconds.
The CIA says, you do not exist.
They'll always need men like us. Those who are willing to do. But others cannot.
We need to fight back.
Let's hunt.
Watch and learn, brothers.
To the community reveal of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. On behalf of Activision, Treyarch, and the entire Call of Duty Black Ops 4 team, it's great to be here with you. Thank you all so much for joining us. Listen, we want to start where it matters the most, with you, our players. Black Ops has been a nearly 10-year journey, and you have been there every step of the way with us. So I want to thank you all for your support and your trust throughout. Thank you. Now, that trust has allowed us to take a lot of risks over the years, and that support has allowed us to grow Black Ops in some new ways. Now, you've come with us on this crazy and insanely fun and sometimes mind-bending ride. From nurturing an off-brand Easter egg called zombies into a full-blown phenomena, to introducing you to twisted stories and unforgettable characters you played and that you played with, to bringing you new ways to play, compete, and watch multiplayer. Throughout this journey, Treyarch has never shied away from introducing something new or unexpected to Call of Duty and breaking with convention if we thought you would have fun with it. And that tradition continues yet again. Black Ops 4 is a living example of what we do best as a studio. We set the bar high, we challenge our assumptions, and we take nothing for granted. And we rethink everything about how we make games, which leads us to today. Black Ops 4 is a game that gives you more ways to have fun with your friends than anything that we have ever created. It's the deepest, most replayable game in our history. Now let's face it, that's saying something, because you guys have played the hell out of Black Ops series. We're inspired by your passion for playing our games together, online, for months, even years. And today is where we begin to break it all down for you. This is a special day for us, and one we've looked forward to for a long time. And as you can imagine, we got a lot to share. So we're going to show you more at this reveal than we ever have. This isn't business as usual, guys. This isn't business as usual. And that starts now with how we're approaching Black Ops 4 multiplayer universe. And who better to do that than Dan Bunting and Lord Vonderhaar.
I didn't think you'd say it. Oh, wait. Hey.
David, what are you doing?
I gotta update my Twitter name to Lord Vonderhaar. And done.
We gotta do the show, man.
Oh, shit.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. We are here so excited to tell you, finally, about this game that the team at Treyarch has been working on for the past few years. And for those of you who have not been with us for one of our past multiplayer reveals, we are going deep today. Before we tell you all about Black Ops 4 multiplayer, which is set in a narrative world between Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, we're just going to show it to you.
Can I take this line? Do you mind?
All right, knock yourself out.
All right. Here is the worldwide reveal trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 multiplayer.
Black Ops, weapons free. Let's do it live.
Guess who's back? It ain't a fucking question. They know the name out in the presence of a living legend. What you heard is murder, you will need protection. So blinded, see, so look for me to come and give direction. You are now not in the presence of nice guys.
Bravo secure. Pushing, on me.
You are now not in the presence of nice guys.
Every shot counts.
Enemy strike team deployed.
You lack compassion, you ain't rap, you just a whack distraction. I can't relax, cause they'll imagine smashing Tony Braxton. Real sisters at the skinny crack.
Building barricade.
I was broke, had no hope, so I wrote this how I cope. I went home with no result, new approach, same truth. Just get ready, aim, shoot, they big bang, woo. So they better bring troops because
Gunship overhead. Bringing down the hammer.
Copy that, 113.
shoot one shot if you ain't ready to die. Never get it up, I got shooters for hire. Cause you don't want it.
Marking targets.
Better back the back, are you done? So I ain't trying.
Sensor going live.
I'm trying to murder. I know you heard me. Feel like I'm going crazy. It's murder.
Heels coming.
Eat this!
You are now not in the presence of nice guys.
Taking Bravo.
I lost count.
Feel that energy.
I lost count of how many times you killed me in that video.
So Black Ops 4 represents our most ambitious multiplayer to date. It delivers grounded combat, tight gunplay, an authentic military feel, and of course the fluid and responsive controls that you know and love, all wrapped in the most refined tactical team experience that we've ever delivered. It's a deeper and more rewarding experience that will be played for a long time to come.
All right.
Bondar.
Let's just get something out of the way. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Can you thrust jump? Can you wall run? Can you confirm we are 100% boots on the ground? Okay. Wow. Look, as we know, you love the fluid feel of Black Ops 3 combat, so the question that we always start with is, how do you create a more grounded and tactical experience, but do it without slowing down the player? So that's pretty easy, right? We didn't stop believing in
Guns up.
Guns up. So in Black Ops 4, will you still move and interact with the world in a really fast and fluid way? And you can still keep your gun up while doing many of the other things in the game, like throwing grenades and using equipment, activating score streaks, and mantling. And what's better than doing all of those things while still being able to fire your gun? And it's doing this while firing your gun. Ruin returns, and this time he brought his special issue equipment, the grapple gun, that only he can equip and create a class. So Ruin is a specialist with those unique ability to close the gaps and get to the enemy faster. And the combos that you can pull off when you grapple to grab slam have been making the highlight reel inside the studio. And we can't wait to see just what you do with this. So specialists are back, both new and some familiar, but totally reimagined. Because each specialist brings special issue equipment that delivers unique capabilities to your team to reinforce the tactical gameplay without slowing down the player. And you'll hear about many of them throughout the discussion. But you would be fooling yourself if you thought that they were the main characters of this show.
That's right, because Black Ops is and always has been first and foremost about weapons and the gameplay around them. It's no different with Black Ops 4. However, with Black Ops 4, we've made more improvements to gun systems than literally the entirety of Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 combined. This just shows how serious we are about weapon systems at Treyarch. We've designed each weapon as though it's a character in and of itself, which means that we pay attention to every single detail. Hot barrels are going to ooze smoke. Muzzle flashes are going to burst and light up the room. Bullet impacts are massive and they connect the player with the game world around them. And weapons for the first time have real 3D tracers, which both look and feel incredibly awesome, but they also serve a gameplay purpose because they let you know where the gunfire is coming from. And animations have been overhauled to make that feel that you know and love that much more responsive. Bullets will actually deplete as you expend the magazine, but that's just the start. This is a small example of the details that we pay attention to our weapons. On the design front, Black Ops 4 is going to break with tradition by giving each weapon its own set of attachments. Now in the past, attachment sets were shared across weapon classes. But this is important to us because unique attachments are all about making the gameplay of weapons and what makes each weapon stand out from each other. We're also bringing a new category of attachment this game. It's called operator mods. Operator mods are the ultimate expression of a gun's profile. It's going to expand its capabilities in ways that go beyond that core functionality. You're going to see here the Titan LMG laying down some heavy suppression fire. That suppressive effect is only capable through its operator mod. It's going to distort and disorient the enemy on the other side of it. Now I'm excited to say that weapons are further defined by another first in franchise history today. I'm here to tell you, Black Ops 4 will be the first game in our history to use a true predictive recoil pattern system. This allows you to constantly make micro adjustments while aiming and shooting. This means that the gameplay of each weapon is learnable. There's a path to mastery that is rewarding for new players and veterans alike. This is by far our biggest investment in the weapons platform and combat systems that we've made to give you the most rewarding and visceral experience by pushing the state of the art on weapons visuals, animations, and sound effects.
Weapons and health are two sides of the same coin, and you can't change one without affecting the other. And Black Ops 4 adds some tactical depth through a change in the healing mechanic. Healing is no longer automatic. Now players manually trigger their healing process with a dedicated button, and that becomes as central to your gameplay loop as reloading the weapon after a firefight. And we like this change because it creates a tactical decision point that simply didn't exist before. So you can disengage from combat and heal up, or you can rush an unsuspecting opponent who may be healing herself. And these changes create a more tactical pace to the game, where instead of simply losing to the person who shoots first, you can actually survive a gunfight with smart maneuvering. And this means you spend more time in the part of the game that's the most fun, which is the combat. So aggressive players still feel rewarded for being aggressive. And tactical players can actually choose when to disengage and look for a better opportunity to strike. Our journey into the health mechanics has evolved and doesn't end just here. Let me introduce you to Crash. And Crash is a medic. And this means when his ability is ready to use, he can actually restore and give bonus health to players for a limited time. And Crash is just more than a medic. He also distributes a salt pack, which resupplies his team, and no doubt the folks at home are already breaking down that MP trailer, and they've already figured out what this one's like. So we've taken a completely fresh look at the health mechanics of a Black Ops multiplayer game to insert tactical decisions and some much-needed pacing into that gameplay loop.
So far we've talked about some really fundamental building blocks of what multiplayer and what makes it awesome. You got movement, weapons, health systems. We're going to take it up a level to situational awareness. Situational awareness covers the gamut of what you see and hear in the game, from the minimap to the sounds that your footsteps make on different surfaces. We've experimented with all sorts of modifiers that have impacted this over the years, but in Black Ops 4 we embrace situational awareness as a fundamental feature to the game. We're introducing a new system called the Fog of War. And only the parts around on the minimap, the Fog of War reveals a radius around the player and his or her teammates. As you'd expect, enemy players are going to reveal their positions when firing a weapon unless they're suppressed, and many of your favorite score streaks like UAVs and counter UAVs are still going to do what you expect them to do. But what the Fog of War does is it creates more opportunities for teammates to communicate and work together for the win. Now I'm going to introduce you to another new specialist. His name is Recon. Recon is an expert in situational awareness. His special issue equipment is called the sensor dart. When he shoots the sensor dart into the world, it clears a large radius around it that both he and his teammates can see, and it helps you to locate enemies. He also has Vision Pulse, which makes a return from Black Ops 3, but this time around it's a little bit different. The whole team gets the benefit of it. So with effective usage, these mechanics together can be a clutch way to snag victory from the jaws of defeat. Situational awareness is as important to the gameplay loop as weapons, health, and movement. And as with the other fundamentals, we're giving you, the players, access to these tools to control your own gameplay loop.
The flow of combat is how movement and weapons and health and situational awareness all come together in the head-to-head gameplay. Spawning, pathing, level design, all of these things impact that flow. You might remember Seraph. She has a TAC deploy, and this is a team-wide spawn beacon that allows Seraph to command offensive control over that flow of combat for a period of time. And this is Torque. Torque is the master of disrupting that flow because he can lay down razor wire and create deployable and improvised cover with his barricade. And one last one. Over the years, we've experimented with the idea of area denial in various ways. And in Black Ops 4, it's time to stop playing around. Firebreak makes his return and makes area denial a part of that gameplay loop. His special issue gear, the reactor core, allows him to do just that. And Firebreak can even trade his own health to extend the clock on that time. So we've combined the best designs in how level spawning and flow control work together to influence the gameplay loop, and then we place those tools not in our hands, but into the hands of you through the specialists.
And the story of Black Ops 4 is not one of a single game in development, but rather the combined journey of the entire last decade of Black Ops. And you, the community, have been with us every step of that way. Every game that we make is an opportunity for us to do better, to continue the dialogue that we have with you, and you know that we listen. You expect that commitment from us, and this is why we do what we do. So I think we've covered all the details. We've pretty much given away the secret recipe to our multiplayer experience.
Are you sure about that?
What did I miss?
Just one little thing. Just want to tease for our competitive community, and that is the return of League Play. League Play is a fan favorite, and we've combined the very best parts of it and we're going to deliver it for all the players of Black Ops 4.
As Mark mentioned in his opening remarks, we're doing some things a little bit differently this year, including how we tell stories in each mode throughout the game. Now, we're delivering more narrative and character depth in multiplayer than ever before. And we're also going to give new and returning players the ability to learn and master each of these specialists and solo missions. These missions feature a series of fun and fast-paced trials that give a hands-on introduction to the new and returning specialists while exploring the stories behind their identities and their backgrounds inside of a Black Ops narrative. Now, with each game, the Black Ops players have spent more and more time in multiplayer, and it's important to us that we go bigger on that experience and expand the narrative universe around it. Here is just a glimpse into that universe.
Not bad.
Not bad yourself.
No one gives a fuck about you. You're a number. An asset. A pawn in someone else's game. They've been manipulating you. Watching you. Exploiting you. And when they get what they want, they'll leave you for dead. So here's the deal. Alone, you can put up a fight. But together, you can start a war.
I think it's time for us to talk about zombies. Good morning, everyone, especially all the zombies fans out there. We know who you are. Those of you who remember zombies as a bonus mode hidden in Call of Duty World at War have been with us from the beginning. You've watched as our undead have grown to become an essential part of the Black Ops experience. The story that we began a decade ago is as much a result of your work as it is ours. Zombies has always been about that shared journey, both for our characters and the tightly knit teams and friends who joyfully compete to be amongst the first to uncover the mode's latest and deepest secrets. Just as with the rest of Black Ops 4, we've gone back to the drawing board on zombies, rethinking how we can give you more ways to have fun with your friends than anything we've made before. The zombies community has always been our North Star, which is why we took everything that you've taught us and put it on the table for discussion about where to go to next. 10 years after it all began, we're about to begin a brand new chapter in the zombie story right here, together. And we couldn't be more thrilled to reveal the details with those of you here in attendance and the many fans tuning in worldwide. Joining me to share more about this new adventure is Craig Houston, our lead writer.
Hello. So, over the years, one of the key aspects that has driven the zombie storyline and fan interest is mystery. A sense that you're entering an unknown world where anything can happen. And when we say anything, we mean anything. You know, stuff like giant robots, mythical staffs, interdimensional time travel, and wee monkeys that explode when you throw them. Remember your training monkey? You'll be fine. Basically all the things that you zombie fans consider normal. We've explored many different time periods and a variety of fractured universes. Now's the perfect time to start fresh. and let the zombies community discover a whole new world together. Black Ops 4 marks the beginning of a brand new storyline, separate and distinct from the Ether story, a new world with new characters and new enemies. Drawing from history, both real and mythical, Black Ops 4 Zombies will introduce us to a new enemy, an ancient order, hell-bent on transforming the world to fulfill their nefarious agenda. Against them stand an eclectic group of all new player characters, unexpectedly thrust together by their shared experiences, with each one bringing their own colourful personality, skills, and unique perspective to the team. You know what? It's probably best if I just show you. This is 9.
You come seeking answers. Hear my voice. Heed my warning. The knowledge you seek was not intended for mortal man. Breathe deeply. The power of the vapors will transport you. Let yourself fall through the ages, through time and space itself, and pray for your safe return.
Bruno, Diego, and Shaw, our new cast. We know them, and we can't wait for you to get to know them too. Okay, a mysterious new world, sinister villains, and engaging heroes and a riveting story of chaos all forms just one half of the equation. It's the what we'll play. Now, let's talk about the how. How we'll play the game. During the development of Black Ops 4, we routinely ask ourselves the question, how do our fans like to play? Well, after taking down literally thousands of zombies, it turns out that you have earned the right to make up your own rules and play the game the way you want to play it. So we're going to provide you with customizable tools and social systems to evolve zombies into an evergreen mode for daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly engagement. Zombies also now boasts custom mutations, over 100 different customizable options that will allow you to play the game your way, changing the fundamental rules and systems of the gameplay experience. Things like zombie speed, health, trainability, type, player damage, magic box functionality, and much, much more. And since the zombies community loves to compete with each other, we're also introducing the Black Ops Authenticity Stamp System. This will give players a shareable code stating exactly what was achieved and with what options. As I'm sure you can imagine, this will help third-party high score boards and other kind of custom competitions. No one likes cheats, especially me. On the subject of custom competitions, we're also introducing limited-time created challenges that we're naming Callings, which will regularly introduce new ways for you to play the game and set the stage for ongoing seasonal content and a few themed experience surprises as well along the way. And as we give our fans more power and ways to play, we're aware that zombies can sometimes be a little bit intimidating to new players, especially those who like to kick back on the couch and play solo. The good news is that Black Ops 4 Zombies will also include bot support, meaning you can enjoy the full narrative experience that comes with co-op. Not got a buddy to play with? Let our AI fight alongside you. Want to mix it up even more? We're introducing a new mode called Zombie Rush, a brand new mode simplifying the game experience to create a whole new tempo of gameplay, perfect for welcoming people into the Zombies universe, an enticing challenge for grizzled veterans alike. We're also reintroducing difficulty levels and an in-game tutorial to introduce players to the mode in a less stressful way. For those of you who also choose to have the path of most resistance, you can crank up that difficulty all the way up. Now, speaking of stress, we've already seen our 4 new heroes during an era of utter brutality, where no-holds-barred, winner-takes-all combat wasn't just the rule of law, but society's favorite form of entertainment. But zombie fans, wouldn't it be interesting to see them go somewhere nice, somewhere luxurious, somewhere they could have a good time? It is my pleasure to show you a glimpse of the second of our Day 1 zombie experiences. Welcome to Voyage of Despair.
Lady Mick and Rick may be of a higher class than you are used to mixing with, huh?
Ah, Bruno, my French friend. The lady will be so lost in my eyes and enthralled in my tales, she will not even notice when I make my move.
Timing, as always, is everything. While you and Lady McBlahblah head off to do whatever it is that you're going to do,
Shaw will collect the key,
allowing us access to the Millionaire Suite.
Well, we will deal with any unwanted guests.
When you say deal with, I have to ask, how?
I will launch, how you say, charm offensive.
Okay, I'm with you so far, but what did you call the pipe things you're looking for?
Pneumatic tubes, used for the conveyance of small packages throughout the vessel. They will carry our surprise down to the cargo room. It really should be quite exciting.
And after the detonation?
That's where I come in.
Given that the artifact will be securely locked within the safe, dare I ask how you plan to get through 2 inches of solid steel?
I've got just the thing. A mechanism of my own invention.
What does it do?
It opens things.
Obviously, your father made some enemies during his travels.
That's a pretty big understatement.
If I may interject, I think you were about to ask if Miss Rhodes expected us to encounter any opposition.
It's possible. Likely, even.
What of the other valuables? Are we to secure them also?
Just the artifact. We're not thieves.
What are we then?
All that stands between humanity and the forces of evil.
That's what's happened. So that's what happens when you unleash the zombie horde somewhere nice. Okay, it was the Titanic, but it should have been nice. Trust me, that bloody great iceberg is the least of our characters' worries. There is so much more to talk about, and this really is just the beginning. We'll be revealing a lot more later this summer, where we shall share further details on other never-before-seen goodies on our road to release. Thank you. Friends, we're not done yet. You've seen a taster of 9 and Voyage of Despair, but that's not all the zombies news we have for you today. We've already said that Black Ops 4 is the deepest, most replayable game in our history. So it's my great pleasure to reveal that for the first time ever, we will launch with 3 fully fledged, fully loaded zombies experiences on day 1. We've seen a taste of what's ahead in our new story, but let's just take a trip back through the ether. One of our all-time fan-favorite maps told the story of 4 lost souls trapped in an eternal purgatory, desperate to break the cycle. Here's a small peek of Black Ops 4's 3rd Zombies map.
Nice.
Not like I wasn't having enough nightmares just in my day-to-day. I have to work with those people. Listen, I'm gonna make this put it really simply for you. This is a super serious year for us for Black Ops 4 on PC. And we're excited to share that we have a completely dedicated team with our friends over at Beanox, and they're making the most robust, most refined, most customizable PC shooter experience that we've created. And we're also excited to announce that Black Ops 4 will be the first Call of Duty title ever released on Blizzard Entertainment's Battle.net platform. Now, we're working very closely both with the dedicated PC team at Beanox as well as Blizzard to make sure that this is an absolutely great experience for our PC players. Let's take a closer look.
Black Ops 4 is really a celebration of our community, and something we've wanted to do for a really long time is focus on PC as its own unique platform and give PC gamers what they deserve.
This version of the game is custom built for the PC, and I think that's going to show through in every part of it.
We've developed a really strong partnership with Beanox, in addition to Blizzard, who have been tremendously helpful in bringing the game to the Battle.net platform, and that's a first for the franchise.
Those of us at Blizzard have been friends with Treyarch for many, many years. When it came to working on Overwatch, we consulted with Treyarch on a number of features.
It's the first-person shooter Blizzard has ever made, so hearing their advice really helped us build out our game. And it's really exciting that we can welcome them onto the Battle.net platform, because Call of Duty is a cultural landmark.
With all the features of Battle.net, I think it's going to be pretty amazing what Black Ops 4 is going to have to offer.
Is going to be fully integrated with all these social features on Battle.net. You'll be able to add friends, talk with your friends, see them playing other games, party up, and interact with them in game.
We're going to be able to talk to players across Black Ops 4 into Overwatch, which should be pretty amazing. PC players expect a lot of options. They like to customize their gameplay experience exactly how they want it.
At Beanox, we have a long history of PC development. And so the PC community is always in the back of our minds. We're really talking about making sure that we've delivered on what they wanted.
For the Black Ops games, we've always had dedicated servers, and this game is no exception. They provide the performance and the security that our PC players need.
We are testing on the widest assortment of hardware possible to make sure the largest number of people can play and enjoy Black Ops 4.
We really wanted to tighten up the gunplay mechanics and make the movement system feel as smooth and as responsive as it possibly can.
There also has been a whole redesign of the UI flow, and we have made tweaks to how weapons react.
Things like recoil, weapon knockback, so that for a keyboard and mouse player, it's easy to get back on target. We will have uncapped frame rate. We're going to support 4K, HDR, ultra-wide monitors. It's going to have great scalability options, so everybody will be able to optimize for visual fidelity.
You've seen the team here get rejuvenated and excited by this idea of bringing the game to PC in a much bigger way than we've ever done before.
Recon requesting attack chopper pass. Select team are cleared to deploy. Going off grid. Check fire. Check fire.
Kill all of them.
Black Ops 4 is the game that lets you play with your friends in more ways than ever before. And we all love Black Ops for that combat experience. But imagine if we take that experience you know and love and we spin it on its head. And we drop you into a large, massive world where you have to survive to be the last man standing. Let's just pause here for a minute. I don't have to describe to you how Battle Royale works. These games are no secret. We play them too. But for us to even consider this kind of experience, it had to be unique and done in a way only Black Ops could do. Now, we are doing this, but we are doing it the Black Ops way. A survival game with the best, most refined mechanics in the world. Our signature controls and gameplay systems and the kind of fast-paced action that only Call of Duty can deliver. All in the biggest map that we've ever made, over 1,500 times bigger than Nuketown. And this is just the beginning. We're bringing to bear 10 years worth of Black Ops universe features. That's your favorite characters, your favorite weapons, and the most iconic parts of your favorite maps. And we're putting them all in one place, a crazy collision of fun, and then we're going to let you navigate that world with land, sea, and air vehicles. This is something that you have not experienced before. Let's keep it rolling. Do you remember your CIA handler, Hudson? Or maybe you remember that very first, very sweet RCXD kill. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? Or that time when you partnered up with Reznov for revenge. And which of these multiple endings did you experience with the Menendez? Or how about that one time when you worked with your friend Woods to take the Hind? Now, I should probably mention this one too. Your favorite zombies cast, weapons, and gear too. This is something totally new. This is doing Battle Royale the Black Ops way. This is Blackout!
All right. There it is, the game that's been designed for you, the Black Ops community. It's the deepest, most replayable game we have ever made across the 3 pillars of Black Ops 4, multiplayer, zombies, and our new mode, Blackout. All right. Look, it's all about having fun with your friends, right? More fun than you've ever had before. Black Ops 4 doesn't have a traditional campaign. We're weaving narrative into each of the modes. And we've added unique ways to play solo in multiplayer and zombies, regardless of your skill level. So, if you're a veteran, we're getting ready to test your skills. And for those of you who just want to ramp up on your own, we got you covered too. This is a game for every kind of player. It's a game that's built to last for years to come. And we can't wait to play it with you. So thank you. Look, I want to give a shout out to our friends at PlayStation. Thank you guys so much for this incredible hardware setup that you guys are going to experience here today. And thank you, PlayStation, for your partnership with Call of Duty. We're excited for what's ahead of us. On behalf of everybody at Treyarch and all the developers, as well as Activision and our partners, a massive thank you. Thank you to everyone here. Thank you for coming from far away. It means a lot to us. And of course, to those of you watching from around the world. It's not going to be long. We'll be back, don't worry, before we're sharing more with this amazing community again. Now, let's check out that multiplayer trailer one more time before you're getting your hands on it with it next door. Let's take a look at Black Ops 4 multiplayer. Take care, everyone.
Black Ops, weapons free. Let's do it live.
Guess who's back? It ain't a fucking question. They know the name out in the presence of a living legend. What you heard is murder, you will need protection. So blinded, couldn't see, so look to me to get direction. You are now not in the presence of nice guys.
Bravo secure. Pushing, on me.
Every shot counts.
Team deploying.
Building barricade.
Gunship overhead. Bring down the head.
Copy that, 113.
Shoot one shot if you ain't ready to die. Never get it up. I got shooters for hire. Cause you don't want it.
Marking targets.
Better back the back. All done, so I ain't trying.
Sensor going live.
I know you heard me. Feel like I'm going crazy. Murder, murder.
Heels coming.
Eat this!
Pre-order now and get access to the private beta.
All right, we're back. Jake, Jean Luc here. That was a lot to take in.
That was
there
a lot
was
to
some
take in.
surprises and some not much surprises. Like I think we kind of called a lot, but I guess we'll just break it down from the beginning.
Right. Let's actually start with the end because they kind of slipped it in there right at the end.
Yeah.
No traditional campaign.
No traditional campaign. It's clear that they waited to show all these other features, and then they were like, "No traditional campaign." But
and he kind of like kept going in a way where you're like, "Oh, okay." They were trying to not focus on that too much.
I don't think I mind. Like I think
I don't mind
as
either.
someone, if I don't necessarily buy Call of Duty games every year, but if I still did, I feel like I would be okay. I still feel like I'm getting my value in terms of what they're offering.
Sure.
I think.
At least it seems like it.
Like 3 zombie maps. There is like missions for each operator.
Yes. Yeah. So the
there are like standalone missions, which sounds like they could be cool, like little vignettes.
Yeah,
maybe.
like little story vignettes. Single-player vignettes kind of makes me think of the Spec Ops stuff from Modern Warfare 2, but probably more single-player.
Yeah,
focused.
maybe little bits of story.
Little tiny bits of story. They said it takes place between 2 and 3 for those who care.
Yeah,
but
like
doesn't
why
really
does
mean
that
much to me.
matter?
I understand from a perspective of internal world building, of like the way you handle your guns, but I don't think the larger community really cares too much about that.
But let's start with multiplayer.
Yes.
That was the thing they started off with. There are definitely some changes to this one. Like I think the thing that stood out, well, a couple things that really stood out to me. Putting down barbed wire, immediately I'm like, Siege, Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, not only that, a guy had a riot shield.
Yeah, we saw Daddy Tachanka.
Daddy Tachanka showed up in there for a briefest moment.
But all joking aside, too, like the you heal yourself as you control your health. Which is kind of interesting.
I actually really like that change. I think that changes up the dynamic quite a bit.
Because it was weird with World War II, right? They were like, this doesn't have regenerating health, and I'm like, wow, that actually could be different for Call of Duty. Like, except in multiplayer, they're still regenerating
totally the same,
health.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that is an approach they are taking.
Right, and I like the idea of having to make that conscious choice of like when to heal yourself, and then you have to wait for it to recharge. So that just adds like more. Tactical, I feel like, options.
Yeah. And it seems like tactics, they seem to be pushing teamwork a little bit more.
Right.
In terms of like operators.
Yes. So like they have
that have like global abilities,
such as healing people. They had the like Recon where they shoot this like pulse that will kind of reveal the map for everything.
Yep.
Yes, another
and the fog of war on the map as well.
Yeah, they're adding a fog of war. For the map, which is probably good because otherwise, in most Call of Duty games, you just kind of are like staring at that map, like waiting for a person. So that's probably like a good decision.
Yeah.
No wall running, no jumping. They got rid of that.
Boots. Hold on, say it with me. Boots on the ground.
But guns are still up.
Yeah, guns are always up now. Apparently, it sounds like you can do anything and shoot.
Which is interesting. Yeah. So. yeah, it's like you can still heal yourself and shoot, or you can throw a grenade. I mean, if they're focusing on all this equipment and they want people to be using that equipment, that makes sense. They wouldn't want to also have it, like, I feel like that'd be really frustrating if you were like, I'm trying to use all this equipment, but every time I use it, I can't shoot.
Yeah.
And I think they want people to keep using the equipment, because otherwise people would just be like, no, I'm just gonna shoot. I'm not gonna focus on the equipment. So that seems like a smart decision.
One thing that you and Tay, who was in here watching it earlier with us, pointed out was that a lot of the specialists, or whatever they're calling them this time around, were from Black Ops 3, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of
you recognized, I think, 3 or something like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know their names offhand, but they had at least like 3 specialists from the last game that are making returns. Seems like they're really pushing that forward, which is fine. That was, I thought the specialists were a pretty good addition in Black Ops 3.
Yeah, the grappling hook looked pretty cool.
Yeah, let's see, some other interesting stuff. Barbed wire.
Yeah.
Mentioned that, they have barbed wire.
Barbed wire.
Yep. Recoil. They were talking about how they're like changing the way guns work in this one. They said it has like a whole new like recoil system for where you can like make adjustments as you're shooting. I'm not sure how that's going to work in practice. I imagine that's a lot more under the hood stuff, but it seems like, I think Call of Duty's kind of like kept the way the guns worked the same for all these years, and it seems like they're finally trying to make some like more significant changes under the hood and how guns work.
I'm curious how different that actually will be when we get it in our hands, though, because that to me kind of felt like padding. Like, oh, here's all we're doing with our guns, and I think when it comes out, it could be a welcome change and it could feel different. But I think it could very much also come out and like people won't
think it's
notice
the kind of thing that I
difference.
think the devs, like if you're a dev, you're probably really excited about that because you're like, oh, here's this cool thing we're working on. Maybe if you're one of like the really hardcore, you know, like esports professional people, you probably care about that.
Yeah.
But ideally, the common person's not going to notice, and they probably don't want you to notice either. It's just they want it to like feel like Call of Duty, but better, or you know, however it's supposed to work.
Yeah, health bars over their head. I don't know if I said that.
No, but that's interesting.
So that's kind of interesting because that's never something I felt like I really needed with Call of Duty because everyone dies pretty quick.
Yeah, but if you have the regenerating health thing, that just adds.
So yeah, that does change things.
Right?
But still, I kind of almost wish there wasn't that.
Yeah, I don't know if I need that. That's
I'm sure there'll be a
little too much
hardcore mode,
information.
right?
Yeah,
That'll
they
cut
always
that
have
out.
that gets rid of that.
But yeah, I don't know if that. I kind of like the idea of not really knowing if someone is healing. You know, like if you see the little thing pop up, you're like, oh, they healed. I better back off. It's almost more. You can almost play mind games with someone if you can't see this health bar like.
Right.
I don't know if it makes that noise.
I mean, you know, we're
It's
making a lot
probably
of
very
Siege
annoying noise.
comparisons, but that's definitely how Siege works, right? You don't know how much health the enemy has, so there's that mind game of like, should I charge in? Did I do enough damage to them? You don't really know.
He also mentioned that the doctor specialist can overcharge, which
oh, really?
To that extent, I actually do kind of. It would be kind of nice to see if someone's overcharged.
overcharged.
Because that was always like, I remember in Halo, you know, like it's nice to know that someone has an overshield because then it's like, what the heck? How come you didn't die?
Sure, but that'd be a nice like visual. You could do that visually, like Halo did, as opposed to a health bar. But we'll see how that plays out.
And then we're kind of going to skip ahead to PC because I think it's also worth mentioning that they are putting a lot more time into PC. But I think the biggest news and the best cameo of this whole thing, Jeff Kaplan, is that this will be Blizzard, BlizzNet, BattleNet exclusive.
BattleNet exclusive. Yeah, I remember last year with Destiny 2 when they announced, hey, it's going to be on, you know, BattleNet, and I was thinking to myself, are they going to do that with Call of Duty next year? And I thought, like, no, I don't think they will, because Call of Duty's always been on Steam. I don't think they want to rock that boat. Destiny makes sense. It's the first time it's on PC, but no, they're totally doing it.
To be honest, I'm surprised it took them this long.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know what happened, but something about Destiny was able to get that kind of conversation going, and then they're like, hey, what if we do it with Call of Duty 2? Which, from a business perspective, makes sense, because you don't have to pay Steam all that money, so I get why they're doing it.
I like how Jeff Kaplan mentioned that you can chat with your friends playing Overwatch while you're playing Call of Duty.
Gotta throw in that Overwatch
I use
plug.
Discord, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then, they just talked about they're making a lot of you know, focusing on PC and making specific changes to recoil and
that's all well and good. Like that.
Sure.
If that stuff needs to happen on PC.
Definitely. There's been Call of Duty's kind of been a mixed bag on PC. Some games have been better than others. I have friends who play it on PC, and sometimes they're like, yeah, this year was really good on PC. Oh, this year it felt sluggish on PC with the way they're handling it. If they treat it the way Destiny 2 got treated on PC, then it'll probably be a pretty good PC port.
Yeah. I do feel like that almost every Call of Duty game, they're like, we're really focusing on PC gamers this time, and then like
they have kind of done that, haven't they? Yeah.
Like we're putting so much resources, but
there was a year where they weren't focusing on PC.
I think
PC players were like really upset, and the next year they kind of were like, yep, we're focusing on PC. Let's talk about zombies. They showed a lot more than I thought.
They didn't show any gameplay though, which I was kind of bummed about, especially because like. There was like sword battles and like melee combat, which
they're going for this super weird vibe where it's like all new characters, but then they're like traveling in time.
Well, almost all new characters.
Almost all new characters. They're traveling in time. They're melee combat. So do you think that map is just melee focused and there's not going to be any guns?
I bet there'll be projectiles. I don't know if there'll be guns.
Right.
Like maybe like a bow and arrow, that'd be kind of dope. But I think like laser staffs or something. I can see that.
Oh, they'll find weird alien tech stuff for sure. But yeah, I wonder if that one won't have guns. Then the Titanic map
will have like older guns. Because I noticed everyone was using revolvers.
Right.
But I feel like
I also really like Titanic as a setting. I think that's great.
I love they're just like backed up against you see the iceberg. I was really bummed that what's his name when it cut back to him who didn't say, now this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's kind of bummed. It was just sitting right there.
That'd have been good.
He could have taken it and he left it on the table.
But yeah, they're making a bunch of different. Oh, and then the third map is going to be. It looked. The wording on it was weird, like a reimagining of an old Zombies map. They're bringing back in the characters from the old Zombies games that people love.
What was it called? Blood of the Dead.
I wasn't really sure.
But I think what's most interesting with Zombies was how customizable it is this time around. Like, there's always been little things that you could, well, not always, but recently there have been little things you could do, like tiny little modifiers, but nothing quite like this. Like, this seems like really customizable, and I think people could make really cool custom modes depending on how deep it is. I hope it's pretty deep, because what he mentioned, like, just seemed obvious choices, right? Like enemy health, your health, how much damage they do, the speed of the zombies, the type of the zombies, which is all well and good. That sounds cool, but that, once again, doesn't sound like it's. Like, I hope that's only the tip of the iceberg. I hope you can really go nuts with it.
I want like Halo 3 Forge level, like nonsense, or not even the Forge. Well, the Forge is the map editor, but more like Halo 3's like custom games. You could set all sorts of like weird stuff.
And they said it was easy to share between friends too.
Right. That stuff would be cool.
And they also mentioned bots too. You said you were worried you wouldn't be able to play zombies by yourself.
Now I can play zombies by myself. And they also mentioned they were gonna have a thing called Zombies Rush, which they didn't really go into too much detail. They just said it was like a more simplified.
My guess is that like just a couple objectives that you need to hit while zombies are attacking that takes like 5-10 minutes.
It probably lacks the obtuse nature of some of like the other zombie maps where you're like trying to like piece together what to do. It's probably a more straightforward like introduction to zombies.
Yeah, it kind of looks like what they're going for with this one though is that there's an artifact in all of these maps that when activated turns everything outside the bubble into a zombie. Although that is weird because the gladiators were technically outside the bubble, right?
Yeah, that that works. Also, some of them turned into like zombie chests.
Yeah, we did notice that.
Which was weird. All right. I guess you're gonna like pick up like loot box chests or something.
Yeah, or maybe it's just a random weapon box.
Yeah. They didn't talk about any like loot box based stuff, which
they didn't. Probably.
It'll probably be in there. I think that's a safe bet, but
they're probably like people won't like it if we talk about this. So
they just like didn't even mention it, which makes sense. And then the last thing,
I think the biggest thing, I think they saved it for the end.
Yeah.
This is Blackout, as the guy yelled at the end.
I loved that. I loved his enthusiasm. Yeah, Blackout. So they didn't show anything. Well, they showed like still images, but they didn't show any gameplay.
Yeah, one thing that stood out was they're going to be 1,500 times the size of
Nuketown.
Which immediately I was like, 1,500 Nuketowns crammed into one map. They're like,
1,500
One
Nuketowns.
Nuketown per game wasn't enough, so here goes.
1,500 Nuketowns drop out of a plane.
I'm honestly surprised that for this Blackout map, they just didn't take Nuketown and expand on it.
Well, I bet you Nuketown's in it because
Oh,
they
it
were
has
just
to be.
they were saying how the map is made up of like your favorite like Call of Duty like maps and locations from all the different Black Ops games put together.
Yeah.
So I bet you there is a Nuketown.
I bet you, yeah, I bet not only multiplayer maps, I bet you'll be able to like kind of stumble through like single player area. Maybe not entire maps, but like I bet you'd come across.
Well, think about it. If you think about the way like a typical battle royale, it's just like, all right, man, we going to like Tomato Town, we going to school. Like it'll be like, oh, we dropping in Nuketown? Are we gonna go drop in?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna do it that way. We're gonna drop in Castro's, villa, like.
Yeah, which, and I think one of the things it's not a first for Call of Duty, but one of the first things they've done in a long time, apart from kill streaks, is vehicles. So Call of Duty 3 was the last one that had vehicles, and then if you count kill streaks, like sure, you could be in an AC-130 for like what, 20 seconds or something. Right. But they said like helicopters, I don't know if they said jets, but we definitely saw helicopters. Yeah. I bet there's going to be jets because flying jets have always been a Black Ops
They said land, sea, and air, and they showed like wingsuits, they showed boats, they showed tanks.
ATVs.
ATVs. Actually, did they show tanks? They might not show tanks.
I bet there'll be tanks.
They probably will, but I don't know if they actually show that. So don't quote me on that. But then and they also said like it's just gonna be like this hodgepodge of all the different series. So you can play as like Mason or Reznov. You can play as all the zombie characters. So it seems like that's gonna be like their kind of well, not really ridiculous mode because the zombies mode is pretty freaking ridiculous, but it's like their sort of like celebration of Black Ops as like a whole, which is an interesting way to take it because you can look at that and say that is definitely Black Ops' version of Battle Royale as opposed to like just a generic Battle Royale.
Yeah, like no, it's better than it's better than if they just made like a big map and then like this is our Battle Royale map. Instead, it's like they have all these landmarks.
Right. I'm curious how the actual gameplay of that feels. Like, I still feel like you need to make changes to enemy health and stuff like that. But they said like, no, it's the Black Ops experience. So I want to know how that plays.
I feel like it's too easy to kill people.
Right. Exactly.
I feel like it's too easy to kill people. Like when I think of Battle Royale, I think more about tactics as opposed to like Twitch responses and like which is definitely a huge part of Battle Royale. But at least with PUBG, I could carry myself using like good tactics.
The interesting thing is if they start taking those abilities, those equipment from multiplayer and incorporate that. So if you get like these siege type of like, we're gonna lay down like tripwire and grappling hooks and you put that into the Battle Royale and put that in the Battle Royale mode, that could be the thing that makes it stand apart. It's like, oh, this is not only Battle Royale, but I have like riot shields and like a pulse thing and I have like, you can overcharge me and you have like this.
You'd have to find those, right, you think?
Ooh, I imagine so.
Because that's the other weird thing. Like, how is that going to work? And then they were saying guns and stuff from all the games. So that sounds like a nightmare to balance.
You got to put them all in.
If they say, I mean, I don't know if they'll put all the guns from the other games, but it said it sounded like they were going to have guns from the series.
So like, I can get my Akimbo,
AUG, A3 from
get all that stuff.
Black Ops.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I wonder how they like balance that out and make
I'm super curious. I think that is what I'm most interested in at this point, just because we know so little. This will be the first time, like, I mean, Epic is a AAA developer, but this will be the first time, like, a AAA, like, huge studio is
getting on the trend.
Is getting on the Battle Royale trend, and I'm curious to see how they pull it off.
Right.
I don't know how much I'll play of it, just because I've played so many
Battle Royale games.
So much Battle Royale. Yeah. But I think it could still be interesting, and I'm definitely excited to see how it goes, because that is that's the thing we know the least about, I'd say.
And they said at the end, they mentioned that if you pre-order, you get a private beta. I wonder if that beta is going to be the Battle Royale mode, or if it's just a multiplayer.
I feel like that would get a lot of people to pre-order.
I think that's, yeah.
And I feel like
if they were smart, I think
that needs more beta testing than anything else, I guarantee it.
Probably, yeah. So I would hope that would be the beta. I'm kind of curious when that is. I don't think they said. So I think that's everything.
Yeah. What are your overall thoughts?
I'm pretty happy with the changes they're making to multiplayer. They're not gonna they're getting rid of the wall running. It's boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
But I think those are smart changes. The equipment stuff seems really interesting. I'm curious how that plays. I like the change to the health. That seems really neat. I'm glad they at least have something for single player.
Yeah. I think a concern was that they'd completely cut that. So like what I mentioned before is at least there is that single player experience that people can get to kind of prep themselves for.
And I want to know what those are like. Are they going to be very straightforward? Are they going to be a little more bombastic? Is that where you get some of your scripted stuff in? That would be, so I'm curious how those play out. Zombies looks super weird. I kind of want to see more of playing it, but it seems like they're just like leaning into the absurdity of zombies even more.
The strange pulpiness.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, we didn't see anything about the Battle Royale, but I'm very curious to play it for sure. So I'm pretty, like, I'm not the biggest Call of Duty fan, so I'm not like revving to go for this game, but I'm like cautiously like optimistic and excited about it. I'm just like, yeah, I'll play that. I'll give that a try. Like, I'm ready to. My heart is open for me to like and enjoy this game.
I think that's pretty much it. I think I feel the same. Is there anything else that we missed that you?
Not that I can think of. I think that's everything.
All right. Well, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 comes out October 12th. I'm sure we're going to hear more of it at E3.
Oh yeah.
We have to. I mean, we have pretty much every year.
Definitely.
So hopefully we see. I hope we see Battle Royale, but you never know.
Me too.
And you should stick around because up next we do have GameSpot Daily, and they'll probably run this down, break this down as well, and talk about some other big news stories of the day and yesterday. But I think that's all we got for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.